everyone, welcome back. It's Rebecca with BexxFineArt, and I finally finished my Hydroflask video. But look at what it cost me. Just kidding, I got that from planking too much, which I guess is a good thing. So here is the finished bottle. Woo, it's so glittery. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about the materials that I used to create this Milky Way effect, as well as a little bit of a tutorial on that. And then at the very end, I'm going to be announcing the giveaway winners of those two coasters from the last video. All right, so let's get started. So I've taken off the tape that I had put on here to protect the labels, and obviously for this part I'm gonna paint around this to make it a little bit nicer, but obviously I'm still gonna keep the logo showing. Down here I actually really like how it's framed in black, so I think I'm going to leave that part of it. Alright, so now we're going to get started with the acrylic painting, and I'll show you guys what brushes I'll be using as well as the colors. To start out, I'm going to be using my Basics acrylic white paint. That's what I use for pretty much all of the white in any of my paintings. And then I decided to fill in this black area right here. I'm going to use this really cool black color shift paint. So you can see it kind of shines gold depending on the lighting. And I think that that is going to look really cool in here inside of the Milky Way design. So the brand for this is FolkArt Color Shift. And there's a bunch of different colors of this. I have pretty much every color because they're so cool. And then in terms of the brushes, these are Artist Loft brushes. So you can see with this one, it's pretty gross at the end. That's because I do a lot of scrubbing, especially with the Milky Way design. And then for the details around the little Hydroflask person, I'm going to use this smaller brush, which again, it is a Artist Loft, and you can get sets of like 30 of these paint brushes at Michael's for like $10, so super worth it because I end up just ruining all of my nice brushes, so now I just get cheap brushes, and if I need to replace them, it's not a big deal. While I'm painting, how I get this Milky Way design is I kind of do like a little scrubbing swirly line around the whole bottle first, and then I go in and fill it in. And I apologize ahead of time for my horrible nails. I used to get them done, but now since I work so much with my hands, it's really not worth it. So, sorry for the side note. Like I said, kind of like a scrubby sort of swirly line, and this part doesn't need to be perfect because I'm going to go back in and fill in with the details later. So this is sort of just my outline. So what I'm going to do around the sides, you can see I'm curving it back up, is it looks a lot better rather than just having part of the Milky Way on the bottle. If I wrap it around the whole way, that way no matter what angle you're looking at the bottle from, you have the Milky Way in the picture. And I just think it's better to create a bottle that looks good all the way around versus just one side. Alright, so this is the top of the Milky Way. Now for the bottom, that's how I'm creating the opening of it. So obviously I have to create an opening kind of around this guy. So that's going to be obviously the biggest part of the Milky Way, but hopefully it'll end up looking really good, especially after I add that color shift black on the inside of it.
Cracks in your skin, the cracks in yours.
Turn it around one more time so you can see. So So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back in again with this brush and the white, and I'm gonna just scrub that Milky Way to make it a little bit thicker before I go in with some color. So I'll just show you a quick example of what I mean by that, and then I'll do a quick time lapse. So I'm really just sort of dabbing the white in circles. I'll also use my finger to blend it outwards. And I'm gonna do this all the way around the bottle. What I suggest that you try to do if you're wanting to do a Milky Way design on anything is try to get the white to fade out rather than just being a line like what you see right here. If you have that lighter transition, it really helps to make it look more natural and realistic, like what you would actually see in the sky. So now that I've got the basic outline of the Milky Way done, what I'm going to do is go in with my Color Shift Black. I'm mostly done filling in with that black, so you can see it's got a nice gold shimmer. I'll probably do another layer once this dries. So for the outside edges of the Milky Way, I will add obviously more white to help with the blending, and then if we look around the bottle, the colors that are mostly touching it are going to be blue, yellow, and a little bit of pink/purple. So for the blue, I've got this metallic Craft Smart paint, which is sapphire. I love this metallic blue. It's pretty much my favorite blue to use because it has a really nice shimmer. For the pink and the yellow, I'm going to use these two color shift paints. Again, that's Folk Art. The purple kind of shines. It's a little hard to see, but it actually shines blue depending on the lighting, which is really pretty. And then the yellow has kind of like a goldish shimmer to it. Again, really awesome. And then here you can see this is definitely more of a pink than a purple. So if I decide I need to, then I'll most likely use this Magenta Basics Liquitex, which is also one of my favorite colors to use because it's so pretty. So like I said, what I'll be doing is adding more white to the Milky Way, and then I'll go back and blend in these other colors with the white as I go. So you only want to do little portions at a time, otherwise what's going to happen is the white's going to dry. Like you can see here, the white is dry, so nothing is going to be able to blend with that. So you need to work in small sections, that way you can blend as you go. And then you can go back at the end and do some overall touch-ups.
Armor intact, you got yourself home, but you're a different man.
I've got pretty much my base layers of colors mixed with my white, so you can see in some areas, like right in here, the transition isn't as good as it should be. So what I like to do after this is I like to go in with another color. For this I'm probably going to use the yellow, and so I'm going to bring this yellow throughout the edges of the whole Milky Way just to tie it together, because I think that this is actually really pretty right in here, and the yellow will help to make the whole thing pop. After I do that, then like I said before, I'm going to go in with some more white, and I'm going to go back in and blend some white over the top of the rest of these colors, again to help get that transition, and it'll also just help to give it more texture. So like I said, it's quite a few layers that go into it, but if you take your time, the end product is really worth it.
In your skin. Brittle
so I've got pretty much all of my details of the Milky Way done. And if you can see, I did actually go back and add black through the center because I liked the contrast that it added. And it just flows better, I think. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna splatter some stars all over the whole thing. And the easiest way to do that is to take your white Basics acrylic and water it down, and then what you'll be doing is flicking your brush. So here's my brush, and I'm going to pull the bristles back and flick them, and that's how I'm going to get all the stars on here. I like to do this first just because I feel like it really creates more of a random look with the stars. Whenever I go in and hand paint all of them, it just doesn't look realistic and it looks like I've hand painted all of them. So I'll do this first, and then I'll go back with a paint pen and add in a few more larger stars, as well as brighten up any that I need to.
You're gonna grow. You're gonna grow.
Alright, so last step in this bottle, which I did not film because it's not the easiest, nor is it the most interesting, is the resin layer. So you can see I've got one layer on right now because it's nice and shiny. So what I do for that is I have my 2-part epoxy, I mix it up, I hold it with my left hand, I put a rubber glove on my right hand, and then I pour the resin over the top of the bottle. Then I rub the resin all over the bottle with the rubber glove. It gets a nice even layer. Once it's done, I put it on top of a Dixie cup so that way the resin can run all down the length of the bottle. I blow it with my heat gun to pop any excess air bubbles, and then obviously I let it cure for 24 hours. The next day, there will be some drips at the bottom. So how I get rid of those is I blow it with the heat gun so it gets very hot, and I take my X-Acto knife and I cut off those extra drips. You can see that it's still a little bit messy here, and that's because I'm still going to do at least one more layer of resin on this. Usually I do between 1 and 3, just depending on how well the bottle gets coated. But once I'm done, then I do try to clean this up as much as possible. Again, I use the heat gun, warm it up, and I can just scrape that off with the X-Acto knife. Alright, so I actually do need your guys' help finishing this. I don't want to leave it blank at the bottom, even though I do love the colors. I want to add something else, whether it be mountains, trees, an oceanscape. So if you have any ideas, please feel free to comment. The only thing I don't want is cactus, because I already have a bottle with cactus on it. So this one's got to be different. Alright, so I know everybody is excited about the giveaway. So I've got my random number generator up. So I had 21 entries, so I'm going to go ahead and generate that number. Alright, so with the random number generator, it was number 4. So I'm going, and I have my iPad right here. I'm going to look at my number 4 comment, because I just gave everybody a number based on their comments, because you have to comment to win, obviously. And the winner is Marissa Sears. Yay! So Marissa won these 2 awesome Resin Galaxy coasters that I did that are actually on a wood slice. So I'm going to be doing my next giveaway, I think probably at 500 subscribers. So feel free to share my videos, help get the movement going. And as usual, subscribe to my channel, like this video, share on your social media outlets. You can see more of my paintings and videos on Instagram and TikTok. And I look forward to seeing you guys next time.
Armor intact.